Okay, well, once again, let me say very good morning to you and also to your listeners and your viewers. Yeah. I must say that as yet, the information is quite sketchy and scanty because most of my sources that I've discussed this issue with seem not to be forthcoming with a lot of the information, probably because of the personalities involved, because the lady involved is said to be related some way somehow to a certain popular footballer, past footballer that we used to have. So yes, so yes. But basically what they are saying is that the few that we've been able to gather is a guy that has been employed within a home, supposed to provide some services to the lady, and then being engaged to do some other things. Probably it's not part of what the person is supposed to have done. And
can I accentuate on that? Do you mind? Because I spoke to some police officers this morning, and they are saying that they don't believe the story of the young man. Mm-hmm. They don't believe it. Yeah. Well, let me just hold on to that, because maybe it could be speculation. Because I spoke to some police officers, and they told me what role was given to him to play, and he said where he comes from, where he hails from, and what he believes in, he's not supposed to be doing that kind of a job, but they're investigating, so let that slide.
Yes, and I think that, Dave, when we are looking at issues of domestic work, these are some of the issues that we have to look at.
We'll talk about that shortly.
Okay.
But when you heard the story, this guy is somebody who's only 22 years of age, was employed by this woman barely 2 weeks ago through an agency, and now you're going to do this heinous crime. How did you take the news when you heard it?
Well, I was kind of very surprised, because looking at the age of the guy, this is relatively a very young guy who ordinarily anybody would think that he should have certain things going on for him in terms of what he wants to achieve in life. Probably even if there are problems in the family for which he has to do the domestic work, you want to believe that this is a guy who wants to do this probably temporarily and then make something out of it and then proceed to what he wants to do in future. So I was very surprised. But later on, based on some of the information that I've had, I am also not so surprised. I am not surprised also because looking at what he did with the things he took, which is to sell them, it tells me that there is a guy who is basically moved by some material things. And remember, based on the information we have, there is a guy who has a criminal record.
Yes, stealing some momos from
yes, and he was actually a fugitive and a wanted man. So if we have a 22-year-old boy, with such criminal record, the question is, what kind of due diligence was done on him for which we have to get this guy into somebody's home?
When you say the due diligence, who's supposed to be doing the due diligence here? Is it the unfortunate lady who's now passed, or the agency that made this young man available, this Alistair guy, John Alistair?
Yes.
Who's to blame here? Because it's not like what we normally do, where for example,